There are 41 toll booths on Route 9 between here and the coast. I worked in all of them at some point over 6 years. But there's one booth, booth 12, at the Meridian Station, that no employee will take a night shift in anymore. Not because of policy, because of what happened to me. I'm going to tell you exactly what I saw, in the order I saw it. Not because I want you to believe me. I don't need that. I just need to say it out loud once to someone. I took the night shift at Meridian because it paid better and nobody else wanted it. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., alone in a glass booth on an empty highway, taking cash from truckers and the occasional lost driver. Most nights, maybe 40 cars passed through the whole shift. My supervisor, a tired man named Reyes, trained me on my first night. He was thorough about everything except one thing. Booth 12, he said, tapping the assignment sheet. You're only ever going to work booth 12. Not 11, not 13, 12. Is there a reason? There's a reason for everything on this road, he said, and didn't explain further. I assumed it was some union scheduling quirk. I didn't ask twice. New employees who ask too many questions get remembered as difficult, and I needed this job. The first few weeks were uneventful. Long stretches of silence, punctuated by headlights and the mechanical clunk of the toll arm rising and falling. I got used to the rhythm. I got used to the quiet. I did not get used to the rule about the phone. There was a landline in the booth, black, rotary, decades old, clearly never used for actual toll business. We had a radio for that. Reyes had one instruction about it. If it rings, don't answer it. Just let it ring out. I asked why. Because the last 3 people who answered it don't work here anymore, he said. Then he laughed like it was a joke. I laughed too. Neither of us meant it. 3 months in, at 2:47 a.m., on a night with no traffic and thick fog rolling off the coast, the phone rang. I stared at it. It kept ringing. Not the double ring pattern of a normal landline, but one long, continuous tone, like the receiver was already off the hook and someone was simply breathing into it from the other end. I remembered what Reyes said. I let it ring. It rang for 6 minutes. I counted because counting was easier than thinking about what I wasn't looking at directly, which was the reflection in the booth's window, where, for just a moment, I thought I saw someone standing on the opposite side of the highway, on the shoulder, facing my booth. No car, no lights, just a shape, still in the fog. When I looked directly out the window, there was nothing there. The phone stopped ringing at 2:53. I didn't sleep for the rest of that shift, or really for the rest of that week. The next night, I asked Reyes about it directly. He didn't laugh this time. You didn't answer it, right? No? Good. Keep it that way. Forever, if you can manage it. What happens if you answer it? He looked at me for a long moment, like he was deciding whether I could handle the answer or whether it was kinder to just leave me guessing. You find out who's on the other end, he said, and then you're the one who has to explain it to whoever comes after you. I started digging after that, not obsessively, carefully, the way you research something you're half afraid to actually learn. Meridian Toll Station was built in 1974. I found an old employee ledger in the station's back office, tucked behind a filing cabinet, water-damaged and mostly illegible. But a few entries survived. One name appeared in the ledger 3 times over 2 decades, each time with a note beside it in different handwriting. Transferred, no forwarding info. The name was Daniel Ferro, booth 12, night shift. I found a 4th entry, dated 11 years ago, in handwriting that matched none of the others. Smaller, tighter, like it had been written in a hurry. D. Ferro did not transfer. D. Ferro did not go home. D. Ferro is still counting cars. I sat with that sentence for a long time. The next section of the ledger was too water-damaged to read, except for one fragment near the bottom of the page. The phone is not for calling out. Do not answer. Do not. The rest was gone. I asked Reyes if he knew who Daniel Ferro was. His face changed. Not fear exactly, but the specific stillness of a man being asked to open a door he'd spent years keeping shut. He worked booth 12 before any of us, Reyes said. Best employee the station ever had. Never missed a shift. Never took a night off. What happened to him? He's still on shift, Reyes said. And then, before I could ask what that meant, I need you to stop asking about this. For your own good. I mean that. I didn't listen. I should have. 2 weeks later, the phone rang again. Same time, almost to the minute. 2:49 a.m. Same fog. This time, I didn't just sit and count. I watched the shoulder of the highway across from my booth. And this time, the shape was closer. Not moving, just present. The way a photograph is present. Still, flat, wrong in a way I couldn't articulate. The ringing didn't stop after 6 minutes this time. It kept going. 7, 10, 15. At the 20-minute mark, against every piece of advice I'd been given, I picked it up. There was no dial tone, no static, just breathing, slow, deliberate, patient. And then a voice, flat and unhurried, like someone reciting a report they'd given 1,000 times before. Booth 12, night shift. 6,211 vehicles processed since October 14th, 1981. No incidents, no breaks, no relief. Please advise on shift change. I couldn't speak. The line went quiet for a moment, and then the voice continued. And this time, it wasn't reciting a report. This time, it was asking a question. Are you here to relieve me? I hung up. I don't remember deciding to. My hand simply moved. The shape across the highway was gone when I looked up, but the fog where it had been standing was disturbed, swirling, like something had just walked through it toward my booth. I quit that night. I didn't finish my shift. I didn't call Reyes. I drove home and didn't come back. 3 days later, Reyes called me, my personal phone, not the booth line. I almost didn't answer. You picked up the booth phone, he said. It wasn't a question. How do you know that? Because someone has to answer eventually, he said. and his voice had none of its usual weariness in it, just exhaustion, the kind that comes from carrying something for a very long time. That's how it's worked since '81. Ferro answers it if the booth's empty. If someone's there and they don't pick up, eventually he gets tired of waiting and the ringing stops on its own. But if you pick up, what happens if you pick up? You become the one who has to ask the question to whoever comes next, he said. That's the job now. That's always been the job. Nobody tells you when you're hired because nobody would take it if they knew. I asked him if he'd ever answered it. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He just said, I need you to understand something. Ferro isn't haunting booth 12 because he's angry. He's haunting it because nobody ever told him his shift ended. He's still out there, still counting cars, still waiting for someone to come and tell him he can finally go home. So what do I do? Nothing, Reyes said. You did your part. You picked up. You asked the question your predecessor asked you. Somewhere out there, someone new is about to start a night shift at booth 12. And one night, that phone's going to ring for them. I never went back to Meridian. I don't know who works booth 12 now. I don't know if the phone still rings at 2:49 a.m. or if it's found someone new to ask its question to. But I think about Daniel Ferro sometimes, a man who worked a job so faithfully that even death didn't relieve him of his shift. Nobody ever told him it was over. Nobody ever will, unless somebody breaks the chain instead of continuing it. If you ever take a job that comes with a rule nobody will explain, a phone you're told never to answer, a room you're told never to enter, a name you're told never to ask about, listen to that rule, because somewhere on Route 9 at 2:49 in the morning, in a fog that never quite clears, the phone in booth 12 is still ringing, and it is still waiting for someone to pick up.